Hello, just watching Napoli Spezia right now. Just want to let you guys know that the Scudetto race is over. That Napoli have won the Scudetto. That they are a great beneficiary of getting. Oh, it hit the post. They're a great beneficiary of getting all this rest before the World Cup. Ordinarily, Napoli tire very quickly because he made a great save. Ordinarily, they don't have the squad depth and get tired as the season goes along. But because of this break in the World Cup, that's going to really benefit Napoli and Arsenal in the English Premier League. Uh, they've won all these matches away. The home crowd is just going to make a difference. The break with the World Cup is a huge beneficiary when you do not have the financial capital to have a very deep squad. That really is going to make a huge difference. Just on top of that, already, all of these tough big seven matches away from home, they're winning. Seems like every single team they're playing away from home. 1-0 against Roma. They get Roma back in front of the home fans. The home fans make the difference. They won against Roma. They defeated Lazio at the Stadio Olimpico. Napoli have taken over Rome. They get Lazio at home. If there is any sign of being tired or having a negative factor from the crowd, it's not going to affect Napoli at all. What will be interesting, though, is if Milan continue to win and if Napoli have to go up against Juventus and Torino in April, when Juve probably, if they do not suffer any injury, would go up against a Juventus team with Paul Pogba and Federico Chiesa. And that's always going to be very difficult, especially if Spalletti and Fagioli are in there for Juventus, the future of the midfield, the youth, the young Italian Azzurri players are going to make a huge difference for Juventus. A victory at San Siro, a victory at Bergamo today. Atalanta is a top team, but when you get rid of that game away in the second match is at Napoli, it's going to make a huge difference. It's the San Siro against Inter January, February, March. No, you get that match in May when it's close to the very end. And who knows if Scudetto already has been won before that time or if it actually would be won, only needing a point against Inter in match 36, if my memory serves me correct. If it's not match 35, if it's match 36. Napoli today, after falling behind, have shown a sense of grinta, winning these tight matches against Lazio and Roma and Milan and Atalanta. Grit, determination. It's not going to be always beautiful every single week. This was not their most beautiful game, but all that matters in these kinds of matches is winning. It doesn't matter how you get there. All that matters is the scoreboard. And Juventus know about this when they won the Scudetto. Even AC Milan had many one-goal victories. They were not outscoring you every single match. That Luciano Spalletti is an expert of these kind of matches because Roma was competing for Scudetto when Spalletti was there during the days of Jose Mourinho, and even it was he who took Inter back to the UEFA Champions League. So yes, all of these matches have been played away. I mean, it's very surprising that not even one match was played at Napoli. I think this is all by design. Napoli are notorious for being tired and collapsing and capitulating in the second half. The World Cup gets them all the rest. This is definitely planned as a tribute to Diego Maradona. This is great news if you're Argentina. No surprise, Napoli win today. Napoli will enter the World Cup with 13 wins in the Campeonato before Argentina win first World Cup since the 13th World Cup of 1986. So one match out of three, we get the Derby de la Capitale. Looks like Juventus won 86 match in league play in Serie A against Inter before the World Cup. And you know how Juventus are notorious for World Cup winners because they had all of the great Azzurri players. Shoot! Goal Milan! Goal Milan! No Forza Milan, no Grande Milan because plus 1.5. Okay, plus 1.5. You just have to get that first goal away. But they've had many good chances. Spezia have had many games in which they didn't score a single goal. So yeah, I had to. Oh, good for the plus -1.5. So good. Early on, the 22nd minute, I'm just watching the game right in front of me on Paramount Plus. I was. I'm gonna watch the replay of the first half, but I was kind of lying in my bed. I have my FOP mob on my phone. I'm kind of eyes are asleep. I open my eyes. I see what's happening in the game, and Atalanta actually had the first 7 shots in the game, but then Napoli regrouped. They settled in from Liverpool, and they had a penalty there. I wonder if the league even knows that Napoli's going to win because it's the 92nd minute, right? They just have to hold on and not give up a goal against Atalanta. The ball deflects off the head, not of Zapata, but of the Napoli defender. Very obvious. You can see on the scoreboard. You can have a video review on VAR. Referee does not award the corner kick for Atalanta. Atalanta could have a chance to equalize, but the referee did not give it to Atalanta. This is, to me, the most clear example that, yes, they want Napoli to win the Scudetto this year. Milan by -1.5. They're looking for offsides. Where's the offside?
It's why people get into the sport. That moment of joy after the ball hits the back of the net.
That's bullshit. Keep the goal.
That one player's not celebrating. Hernandez didn't really celebrate because he thought he might have been offside.
They want Napoli win Scudetto. Woo! Play on, ref! Woo! 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 Play on! Play on!
They were talking.
Woo!
Lease.
Kick the ball! Kick! Let's go! Curse this ref.
You can hear what the fans think. It shouldn't be ignored, you know.
Where was even the offsides there? Play on, ref!
Scored a goal.
Play on! Play on, you dickhead!
Get your money, you got your ticket. Celebrate it.
Who's your bet on? Who's your bet on?
Now, what's going on here?
Make up your mind! Make up your mind!
I'll tell you what.
Woo!
I haven't heard noise like this before.
Just play the match. Resume the match. If it's not there, play on. Come on, dickhead. Play on.
There must be some technical difficulties here because this check is gone on for 5 minutes or so.
Play on. You heard this guy. Cursing the ref. Technical difficulties with VAR? What am I watching? Woo! Finally, the check is over. God damn it. God damn
It's a different sport.
it. Oh my God. Play on. Play on. Play on. So let's go check out the fixture, shall we? When we're examining Napoli, Scudetto. Right after Milan, it was obvious who's going to win the Scudetto. Napoli need all the help they can because this is not going to be a team that's going to win the Scudetto anytime after this year. This is a team that, under odd circumstances, will win one right before a Maradona tribute of winning the World Cup again. So when seeing Napoli in the matches that they have played so far, if Milan win today, they're 6 points back on Napoli. Let's been looking at the matches that they have played. Empoli and Udinese. Udinese is an interesting game. Is Udinese tired of as their form gonna drop a little bit ever since the draw against Lecce? The one that's very interesting here is Inter Napoli. Actually, San Siro. San Siro. There's the other one. They're kind of one more match away. Inter Napoli at San Siro, January the 4th. Get my keyboard working again. If they win that match at the San Siro, then it's on. But that could be a match where Inter need for top four, especially if they do lose to Juventus. So January the 4th. January the 4th. This has a magnet right there. Sometimes they need water. So excuse me. I need some water. Sorry, I've got hand soap. I just have to get this magnet wipe off the dust. I have a surface. Okay, I've got the keyboard working again. Okay, so they're at Inter, 1st of January. At Inter, then that's 5 big road wins. Lazio, Roma, Atalanta, Milan, and potentially Inter. But I think that match could be in Inter's favor if they were to resume their hopes for the top 4, especially if they lose to Juventus. If they lose to Juventus, that could be a game that Napoli drops, but hopefully they beat Inter. But we shall see. The first loss could happen against Inter for all we know. But they get that road match out of the way. Then they get all 5 of these teams without playing them at home. And the home crowd is going to make a difference because these people, this club is their religion in Napoli. So that's going to be a factor. Napoli Juventus, January 13. 13, a key day, especially if Argentina win the World Cup for the first time since then. They host Juventus that game. 13th of January, Juventus Inter, big matches in January coming off from the break. Are they well rested for those games? Is that going to be a beneficiary for Napoli when they're going up against these teams that are used to playing, resting these starters? We'll see which club has the most players playing the knockouts. Then we'll see who are the most tired clubs are when they get back from the World Cup break. But Napoli, that's really what's in store for January. If they win one of those 2, then you're really looking at furthering the Scudetto campaign. You never know with Milan because they lost against Torino the other day. Spezia should be much easier, especially if Lazio defeated Spezia 4-0. Your Milan, you should win by more than a goal. So Sampdoria, Salernitana, then Roma, January 29. So really they're getting many of these games away very quickly in January. Versus Roma, 29th of January. That game is at home. 2 out of 3 are at home. I think Napoli supporters are going to get very excited that this is the second half and the team is well rested. February may be a little bit of a break. Spezia, Cremonese, Sassuolo, Empoli, mid-table. Cremonese and Spezia. If points are dropped against those 2 teams, these three teams in January, then Spezia and Cremonese February 5th, February 12th. Then the month of March is a very tough month for Napoli. March the 5th, they get Lazio versus Lazio. Remember, this is at home versus Lazio. That time of year where injuries could play a factor for any team. Then the very following week, 12th of March, Atalanta. This is at home. This is Atalanta. I don't know how they're going to really do when they go in these tough environments, but it's very hard to win, especially when the uh, San Paulo, the Diego Maradona Stadium, is going to be even a tougher place when there is a lot to play for at that time. So Atalanta, that is the month of March. It looks like international break. March 19th, April 2nd. That's a lot of rest before hosting Milan. That is a beneficial time to have that match versus Milan following international break. I mean, World Cup break and then international break. Crazy. That is that really is a beneficial time. And then away, Torino, Juventus, Napoli, 23rd April at Torino, top four, and title race. I think that Napoli Juventus match is going to be a very entertaining match. It will be. And then in May, they get Fiorentina at home. Remember, this is a well, it's always personal when you're Napoli going up against the North because it's a huge disparity economically between the North and the South. Many immigrants, maybe many people from the agricultural South, travel to the North. It's really Napoli against the North in the 80s and the 90s. That's what made Maradona a cult figure was the North dominated Italian football, and it was unheard of uh, when the South was threatening the power of Juventus and Milan. Inter, not so much title contenders back then. Uh, the late 80s, early 90s, it was more of Napoli, Milan, and Juventus. And then it all ends. Where's the fixtures? Where did I have it? Where did I have it? Let me go back to it. So Fiorentina away. Monza is one of the last four games. Sampdoria is the last match of the year. Sampdoria, June the 4th. Bologna, Monza, May 14th. Bologna, 28th. Uh, versus Inter, May 21st. That's the day they win Scudetto, in my view. So a key international break before Milan. They get all these other games at home. Depending on how they do in the Champions League, they'll try to win Champions League, but I think what matters more is the Scudetto. So Napoli, I believe, will probably have an early exit in the Champions League. Inexperience in this position, how are they going to handle match congestion? Not going to be in the plane for Coppa Italia. Will they be in the quarterfinals of the Champions League? Squad congestion will add up. Maybe the World Cup means that it will not make a difference. That they will, it won't matter if they're in the quarterfinals. They're still going to be worrying about the Scudetto. That they don't have to. All depends, obviously, who they play in the round of 16 of the Champions League. More to come right after the draw ends. Make a video about that, just detailing the draw, who's going to win, all that. And yeah, Scudetto is over. They have won the Scudetto. Napoli have won. They got all these matches at home. It's over. Even the announcer mentioned it too. winning away in this fashion, super impressive. Even if they're tired in January, February, March, the fans are going to energize the players. That's what makes the difference. You'll see it all play out too.